Hi, my YouTubers. Today's video is of a different nature. Today, you know that some of you may know that I love to give encouraging words, especially to women. And I recently came across this morning, as a matter of fact, I came across something that, disturbing that was reported in one of our newspapers, and it is women who are abused and the men who abuse them. And it's always disturbing to me to know that there are persons that we know, there are persons who we know that it may be our sisters or mothers or friends or even us that have been abused from time to time. And I just want to categorically state that abuse of any kind should not be tolerated. I don't want you to believe, as my audience, that it's only women who are abused. It's our men too, and it's our children, and it's our grandmothers, our grandfathers. You know, women abuse men, and men abuse women, and men and women abuse children, and children abuse other children, you know, and so the cycle continues. But it is never okay. It's never okay to be abused. And you should not seek to abuse persons. And abuse comes in so many forms. Abuse comes in even the simplest little form that you might consider it simple. You may not even have considered that it's abuse. But controlling persons through manipulation is abuse. Yes, and I'm speaking now on behalf of women because I am a woman, you know, so it's easiest for me to speak about, but understand that it goes both ways. Men abuse women, women abuse men, and people abuse children, etc. But as women, we should see it and call it as we see it. Abuse is abuse. You know, as I said, I got up this morning and what flashed up on my phone was a newspaper article, one of our local newspapers, that indicated that a woman took a man to court for whatever reason. I don't know what reason they were in court for. And the gentleman in court proposed to this woman. And from my understanding, she accepted at the time. And he indicated to the court, to the judge, that he would no longer abuse her or, you know, treat her in a particular manner. And so they went home together, the man and the woman, and the abuse started again. But what she decided to do and what she decided to tell him was that she no longer wanted to marry him. And what a normal person in a normal relationship would have done would have been to accept it and walk away. Because it takes two persons in a relationship to make it work. And if one party has signed out, has signed off, is no longer interested, then the other party, who may still be interested in the person that signed out, signed off, went, you know, may still want that relationship. But what you have to understand, when one party is gone, there is nothing that you can do, the remaining party, to convince the other party to stay and to provide that love that you so desperately seek and need. Because oftentimes we think that we need love, but we don't. What we actually need oftentimes is self-love, and we seek to, oftentimes as women, we seek to latch on to, hold on to men who really don't love us as individuals. We tend to be attracted to persons or to men who abuses us, and the abuse may not come physically. The abuse can be mental, it can be verbal, and we have to quickly recognize it as abuse and call it as it is. So this young woman decided, listen, I want out. I don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore. And the typical reaction of a male is that he's having none of it. Yes? And so he started, they had 2 children together. They have 2 children together. And what he did was to use the child, one of the child, as a pawn. And he would say he would come over, he'd want to come over to give them money, etc. So she wasn't there the day that he came over, and he got mad. His ex-woman wasn't there the day, and he got mad. The child was there, however, and he waited on her to come home. And when she returned, he said, I came by to give you the money and you weren't here. Where were you? And then he proceeded to choke her. And she started to cry, I can't breathe. And he continued to choke her. Long and short of it is, he did not kill her, thank God. But where do men get off? As I said, I'm speaking on behalf of women because I'm a woman. That if the woman wants out, and you may not want the same thing, where do you get off as a man to begin to abuse a woman because of the decision that she has made? As women, we have to be very careful, especially as a woman that is progressive, a woman that is independent of any man. What we tend to find as women, once we have a level of independence, most men, they don't like that. And they try to manipulate your mind and your thoughts into a controlled, they try to control you through manipulation. And as women, we're such nurturers and givers that we don't readily see what's happening. And by the time we do, the men would have already garnered and gone off, robbed us blind, basically. Robbed us of our genuine love, of our monies, of our dignity, of our self-respect. As women, I'm encouraging us to do some self-examination. Examine self and understand what it is that you want as a woman. And if a man comes along that doesn't fit into our own mold of what it is that we want, you should send him on his merry way. As a woman, you don't want to jump from one relationship into another without knowing self and knowing that, you know what, I'm fine without a man, and I'll be fine without one. Because in so doing, you're protecting self. You understand self, you believe in self, you are confident, and the next man that steps to you should trod very cautiously, because you are accepting of nothing but the very best from a man. I want you to start as women setting borders and limits and expecting that the next man that steps to you comes with a certain package that's non-negotiable. Expect nothing but the best. And if you have a list of 5 things that he should come with to the table, accept nothing but the 5. Not 4.5, not 3/8, but 5. I want us as women to be very careful, especially if you have a business, to be very careful of the very men that you let into your world and your business. Because I'm telling you that men will target you. They would have already studied you, seen you, studied you, and they would have come with their A games to deceive you, to get from you your financial wealth, to use you for your powerful mind. So you need to guard self and be very careful of these monsters wrapped in what is perceived to be gold. But if you chip away that perceived gold that's on the outside and you begin to look at his inside, you will see a mold of dirt that cannot be planted in, because anything you plant there will wither. Sometimes we're in a relationship and our friends, they see him for who he is. That's okay if you don't at the time, but there are some times when you have to step back, step out of that picture that's on the wall and get a good look at that picture, at that painting, to see the true picture. There are times when you have to do that. Step away, step outside of that picture and take an honest look at that painting to get a true indication of who this person really is. And you know, sometimes as women, we have a gut feeling that's called our intuition. I think we're blessed with a woman's intuition. Follow your gut feeling, always. If something doesn't feel right, it isn't. Run. If it doesn't feel right, run. Never wait around to discover that you're actually right. If it doesn't feel right, you need to move with the speed of light and get away from that situation. The life you save may be your very own. So I just wanted to come on here and share, you know, it has been on my heart for a long time. I hope what I've said have made some sort of sense or some sense, and I hope you can take from it. I hope it will enhance your thinking, and I hope it will encourage you somehow. Whatever relationship you may be in, you may be thinking at this moment that, you know, do I stay, do I go? If something doesn't feel right, you need to go. Even if it means you have only $1 to go with, it's best you go. The life you save may be your very own. Some decisions are never easy to make, but with God, you will survive. You are not the first to be in this sort of position, and you certainly won't be the last. So consider these things that I have put forward. Always, always examine the relationships that you are in, and remember, if it doesn't feel right, then it isn't. A decision now needs to be made. Today, not tomorrow. Right now, a decision needs to be made. Take care of yourself and each other. Until next time, walk good.